and welcome back to my channel. So today is part 2 of the Jasmine Becket-Griffith page, and we managed to do in gouache all the sea, acrylic black background with a bit of Posca pen, which I'm not happy with because it's a different colour, and then I put some clouds which I'm not overly happy with them clouds, but I can't fully do the technique what I want. I want to pull this down. I thought my finger was wet then with water because I've just cleaned off on the palettes. I want to pull the clouds and the colour down, and I can't do that until the image is done, I don't think, because I want to do some clouds over that. I know what I'm talking about. So I want to base the earth. I couldn't think then. I want to base the earth, so I am using the gouache again. Is it Artex? Yeah, I think it's Artex. No, I just used the lid as a palette. So making sure that my brushes are clean, because I did use one of these for the white. Just make sure that that's all out. Actually, instead of, I'm just gonna go straight ahead and go straight with the gouache. I might water it down, I might not. So it was interesting doing that clouds with the gouache. It is completely different to using acrylic. So a little bit of water, because that is quite difficult to work with. And I'm hoping I'll be able to go over the top of this with pencil for detail. A little bit more. And we have got a black spot there from the background, so I've just gone over the top of that with the green. It needs to be a little bit more opaque. That should be alright. Just don't want it drying too lumpy on the page, because the pencils might struggle a bit then. And it might take a few layers to get the look that I'm after. So in with a slightly darker green, which that's more turquoise, so I'm a bit nervous about using that. Mix it with that one a little bit. It's not too bad. I'm going to use a smaller brush now. Because it's not all one flat colour, is it? Maybe a touch of black as well. Just a tiny amount. And that should be okay for that, and hopefully I'll be able to go over the top with pencil, but we will see. Let's make sure that this is cleaned off. The gouache really does manage to get into the paintbrush, and it takes a lot longer to clean than, let's say, watercolour. So what do we want to work on? I'm a bit nervous about doing the hair now in gouache. I might just base the dress. And then that octopus as well, I wanted in a green, not green, purple, didn't I? So if I mix these two together, that might make a nice purple. And that's a rock in the background. Have I got a grey? I've not got a grey. Might be able to mix a grey. And then what about the sea monster? I think the turquoise green would be nice for that one. Or at least have the base layer green and then go over the top. With some sort of pencil. So there's none. So is that part of this? Or is that's not the octopus, is it? That's part of that, I think, so it's the opposite side. Or is it the octopus? I think that might be the octopus. So back in with that purple I already mixed. Water that down a bit. Just want to make sure that I can still see that line out. Just want to know where to colour what. So the dress. I think we'll go straight this navy colour. Add a touch of water. So that's part of the dress as well. All the way down. What I'm doing is I've put a lot of pigment down there, so I'm trying my best to pick that up and use that instead of adding any more from the palette. A little bit on a leg though. And on a finger, what's going on? Right, so before that dries, let's try and smooth this out as best as I can. Right, so before I do any more faffing with that, because I know what I'm like, I'm terrible for it, heat gun. That's dry enough. I am going to probably have to iron this page when I'm completely done with it. So I'm umming and ahhing about the hair, whether I should use gouache or use a different medium, maybe like alcohol markers. I'm not 100% sure. We're not up to that bit anyway, so I can put the paints away for now. And let's test these pencils out because I am really curious. Let's make sure I get the lid on. Why can't I put the lid on this bottom? That's it. I like to try and make sure that I've got a semi-organised desk. I don't want too much of a mess in everywhere. So I've got things that need to go back on this table. That's a little bit better. Right, and my two cloths can be moved. So, the pencils. Let's get my sharpener ready, because I know I'm going to need it. Right, and the C. I don't know how well this is going to work, but this is denim, the shade denim. So let's give this a sharpen. They do feel very thin, these pencils actually. Have I got a pencil there, a different brand, so I can put it next to it? Right, so I've got a small polychromos pencil there, and that is a lot thicker than it. And then the Derwent drawing one, which is even bigger. So yeah, it's a very thin pencil. So with it being so soft core, I'm hoping that, God forbid I drop these for whatever reason, that it wouldn't scatter and smash. Oh, it should be alright, this colour actually. Just to deepen up some of these areas. But I am going to use probably white acrylic actually to add some waves. And I've missed one there. How irritating is that? Just trying to add a little bit more depth here really. Really low. It is really low. It's one that's not even a helicopter. It's one of them huge ones. I don't know what they're called. This colour might be alright for the dress as well actually. This denim shade. With a bit of black thrown in. I don't know about you, but sometimes with mixed media you can look at what you're doing and you think, when am I going to get past this ugly stage? And then all of a sudden it just comes together. It just comes together beautifully, like that's how it was meant to look. So these really do remind me of Prismacolor. They're not as soft, I don't think. I'm hoping that this tape has held out and is not going to rip my paper. We will see at the end. We do need to keep it on at the moment, still do these clouds and the splashing of the waves. I'm turning my pencil round as well as I'm going, just to try and keep the point as sharp as possible. So I wonder why they only chose to bring out 24 colours. And if they're going to bring out any more in the future. Because even 72 pencils is not a lot of variation. I do like the 150 sets or even 120. So yeah, for 24 pencils. So I'm going to leave the C at that, but I'm going to stick to this same colour. I'm just checking, just in case, for any bleed through. And use the same colour as well on the dress. Just make it darker in the bottom and in the shadows. Move over to this side. Here as well. It'd be shadowed, wouldn't it, underneath where that she's holding the earth. One of my dogs is snoring. I wonder what the white's going to be like. I hope that's as pigmented as the Prismacolor. That'd be nice to have a new white to use. Although I still do really like the Derwent drawing one, the one that I've just had hold of. I do really like that one. So it's holding a point not too bad. I'd say it's holding it better than the Prismacolor does. I'm going to have to sharpen it again soon, but they don't feel fragile. I hope I don't say that and then suddenly start breaking. Right, so let's sharpen it now. I use the Helix crank sharpener as well, just in case anybody wanted to know. So let's start from the bottom. I'm going to have to ever so slightly tilt it just a little bit. I should be able to fiction out, should be not too bad. So what other sort of glues have we got? That's That's more of a purplish shade there. Let's try this blue, which is literally called blue. Give this a sharpen. It might not even show up. Oh, it's not too bad. Just to add a little bit more shading. That's not looking too bad, is it? So let's try the white. This is the one that I'm really interested in testing. Now I didn't sharpen. The other one that I had to sharpen was that dark purple because it came broke. The Amazon guy that posted it, I wish they'd knock sometimes. Sometimes they knock when I don't want them to and it's the smallest package, and other times they try and ram it through your letterbox. But yeah, it came through the letterbox and smacked the floor. So I'm thinking that that's the reason why that purple had broke. So it is quite pigmented, this. I'm using a really light hand because I don't want it to be really white. That happened years ago with the pan pastels that I ordered from Amazon. He didn't put them through the letterbox, but my husband was at the door. I think he was doing something with the car at the time, and he handed it to my husband, but as he's handed it, he's dropped it. Yeah, and they smashed everywhere. I was so upset. But I did fix them. I used rubbing alcohol and just fixed them myself. They just weren't as pretty anymore. I think I've talked about that before. I'm trying not to faff too much. I think I'm quite happy with that. So the earth as well I want to do in these pencils, and that should be another good test because that is just normal paper. It's not been messed with. So this is light blue. I think that white, yeah, that white is just called white. Let's see if I can just get a nice even layer of this down. So far I am really liking these pencils, really liking them. I dare to say that I might like them a little bit more than the Coloursoft, but it's only the first time that I've used them. I've not tried them on different paper. Let's move it out the way. I did unfortunately go over a little bit of her finger with some of the gouache, so I'm hoping that I can cover that up with just colour pencil. So I'm happy with that, the amount of coverage on that. So we'll switch back to the blue and just add a little bit of shading around these areas, I think. So let's add a little bit of darkness with the blue. And then the denim blue as well, because we are working with such a small amount of colours. I'm just using what I've got. I want this bit all dark in the middle. Not just around the outside as well. So I'll do a couple of different random darker areas. So is that part of her arm? Or is that meant to be green, that bit? I'm not sure. And I think in with the denim now. Well, shut up. Yeah, I would have liked a really deep blue for this. I'm wondering if I had a little bit of black maybe. That'll do what I'm looking for. I'm not using hard pressure here, I'm using medium pressure, but I'm having to go over quite a few times. Let's just try the black. I've not used this black yet. And this one's just called black, I do believe, yeah. I use quite a light hand with this actually. I'm just trying to make some areas look, you know, really deep. I think if I wanted to get the depth of colour that I'm after, I'm going to have to switch and use a different brand of pencils, which I didn't really want to have to do. I don't know what the pencil is going to be like over the top of that, but let's try a green colour, and this one's Basil. I'm not going to sharpen this all the way because I've got a funny feeling that this is going to snap. And I want to use the same colour as well for the dragon monster thingy-majig. Just adding this in random areas. Just going on with the gouache, not too bad, and considering how thick this gouache is here. I do want some black as well. So while I've got this pencil out, I'm just going to do half circle motions all along the top of its back. Now I do try my best in my videos not to tilt the beak, but needs must. So it would be on this side. The Alice book, the Jasmine Becket-Griffith Alice book, now that one does really confuse me. Some of the pictures in there, that's why you've not really seen many of that one. So let's try some of the black. Just at the very top maybe. And the finer details like the posca, I'm not sure whether I should do that now or later, because I do want to add some white acrylic. So it might be a better idea to do it now. And then while I've got the black as well, just some random squiggles on the earth. And I'm going to do that Posca pen now. So for the eyes. Well, that's very cartoony, isn't it? So my purple for the octopus, I've only got 2 purples. There's violet and there is lilac. And I think the lilac is going to be way too light. This is the pencil that was broken on me, so I'm hoping that it's okay. It's not too bad. Then we needed a grey, didn't we? Oh, we have got a grey. It's not a rock, that, is it? It's not a rock. That's the boat. That's the side of the boat. Well, I'm glad that I noticed that now. And not when I'd done it grey, because I do want that to be brown. This is raisin. I've missed a little tentacle there. What am I like? What am I like here? So it was there, wasn't it? Coming up. And just to darken that up a little bit, I have got another brown in this 24 set, which is natural brown. I think that'll do for that portion of the boat, and then for the little sails, I think we'll stick with blue. I don't like adding loads and loads and loads of different colours, because I really struggle matching what goes best with them colours. And that's a little flag there. And then the darker blue, which was the denim. Just like that. Right, I'll just pause the video there. I was away for about half an hour. I'm eating a sweetie, sorry. I don't like these clouds. I'm going to redo them. So over the top with the black, and then I'm going to stick with my trusty white acrylic. And let's see if we can cover this up. I'm not looking to cover absolutely everything up, because see, it's activating underneath it, and that is completely dry. So clean my brush off. I don't like gouache for clouds, so I've learnt that. Maybe adding a little bit of water, moving it around a lot quicker will be better. So it's not activating the gouache too much. So, heat gun time. And another layer. I think should be okay. Try and dry off my brush as best as possible. Not go over that hair. Oh, will you stop whinging? A little bit more here. Oh no, on her hair. What am I doing today? So there's nothing I can really do about that. I'll just have to let it dry and hopefully go over the top. And here comes the rain again. Yeah, I don't think there's much I can do about that. I can try and tap it just to get some of the excess off, but I might make this even worse, which I am doing. I get a clean brush with some not so clean water. This might have been a big mistake. So right, I'm going to leave that, leave it. So I'm going to end up making even more of a mess. So, one of my plastic sheets that I will cut up later. Some white acrylic. This is becoming a whole ordeal, this, isn't it? Trying to create some clouds. I could do with changing that water. I'm going to have to change this water. Right, so there's my clean water. So instead of using this sort of brush, I'm using more of a straighter one. Just dampen the brush off. Pick up some of that acrylic paint, and let's try for number 2. Let's dab it out a little bit with my finger because I don't want it too white. I know I've got an image in my head of what I want it to look like, and today it is not working. Just dampen that off again. try a really watered down. I wanted to try and add some stars as well, but I'm just thinking that it's not going to happen that today. And it's dripping everywhere. I think that's as good as I'm going to get, to be honest. Have I got a shorter brush that I could do lines with? Yes, I can see one there. That might be... oh my god, that might be better. No, that is better. I think I'm just going to have to leave it at that and stop messing with it. But let's wipe that up before it dries, and let's get a tea towel just to protect some of my counter, and then over the bottom bit. Try and make a starry night. Try and be in the word. He's testing me this page today. Try and get all that paint off my finger. And for the waves, now this is going to make me even more nervous. A little bit more paint. Dab off the excess. It doesn't look too bad in the viewfinder, but I'm not overly happy with it, I've got to be honest. Just try and add some wave effects. And then once I've coloured her skin, I might add a little bit over the top there as well. See if I water this down. It's like I need a thinner brush. I'm not sure, oh, it's not too bad. My daughter's having fun up there. Right, I'm not gonna fiddle around with the rest of this. Due to time reasons, I'm gonna have to do the last portion of the video as a time lapse. But it's just me colouring the skin and the hair, so I should be able to take the tape off now. Let's move all this because I don't want white acrylic absolutely everywhere. Please don't rip the paper, please don't rip the paper. So that's the first bit. top one next. So far, so good. You see where I missed the line a little bit there. Oh, it is ripping the paper there. So, and it's ripping the paper on this side as well. So this isn't the perfect one yet. But it's a lot better than some of the others that I was having to deal with. We need to clean all them off, clean off my desk. But part 2 will probably be up in a day or two, and like I said, I will have to do that as a time lapse. I'm hoping that I managed to cover up the big whoopsie that I did there. But the page hasn't warped as much as I thought it was going to do. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. And you know, sometimes they don't work out. That definitely didn't work out what I wanted it to, and then even the second time round it didn't. But it's just showing you need to practice. You need to practice. I need to practice my clouds and get better at them. But anyway, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.